Very good day, everyone. We celebrate today the Feast of the Holy Trinity, and these are the readings for Mass today. My heart and my head are full as I speak to you this morning, full of images from the past week and feelings that they aroused in me. Watching the protesters in the streets of Los Angeles and in the cities across the country have deeply impacted me. I'm taken back to another time. I keep you young people in mind especially as I tell you this. I was 15, 1963, April, and I was watching television by myself, and the news came on, and there was a video from the city of Birmingham in the state of Alabama. And there, a protest had taken place in the streets on the part of young people. Even children were present. And the police came out and attacked the young people using fire hoses and dogs that had been trained to attack them. They were protesting because they were asking permission to be able to go into the city theaters and the restaurants and to use the other facilities in their own town where they'd grown up. But they were denied that because of the color of their skin, because they were African American. And I remember how I felt to this day. I've often said I think it changed my life. I was disillusioned because I'd been raised in a way that taught me respect for my country. My father was a soldier in the Second World War. We had the flag out in front of our house on the 4th of July. How could a country that I respected and loved do that kind of thing and show that kind of racial hatred? In the readings today, there is a story of Abraham going up on the mountain to meet God. And he says this to God: Lord, if I find favor with you, then please do come along with us, your people. March with us, he was saying. Walk with us. Even though we are a stiff-necked people, we need pardon for our wickedness and our sins. But walk with us. And I'm thinking of that this week as you see people walking down the street. Think of God walking with us. One particular image that stays with me is the Hollywood policeman who early this week decided in talking to the protesters that he would show them a sign of his unity with them, that he was not so different from them. And he took a knee, like Kaepernick, the football player. He took a knee to indicate to them that he too was against police violence. And Jesus came like that into the world so that we would understand that God is not a big authority far, far away from us, but rather he is one of us. And he walks with us. As we go into the coming weeks, listen to the words of St. Paul in the second reading today. He says, if you want to be conscious of God's presence in your life, then encourage one another. Find a way to agree with one another. Live in peace. Don't argue with one another. Be at peace. God is giving us a very special moment in history. Back in 1963, that protest march was seen by people on television all across the country, and it really actually brought about changes in many laws. Racism is still alive, as we know. So it didn't change everything. It didn't change people's hearts. But when people saw, once again, this time they saw it with their own eyes, this middle-aged man, George Floyd, being murdered before our eyes, it's had the reaction throughout the country of protest after protest. I believe with all my heart, from good teachers and from the experience I've had, that violence will never change people's hearts. But learning to reach out to others who maybe are different from you with kindness, even if you're not comfortable with them because they're different from you, crossing the line to be of comfort to others does change hearts. Forgive one another. Live in peace, St. Paul says. Blessings to you and your families on this Holy Trinity Sunday.